Well, welcome back, everybody, to another fresh edition of Just a Couple Old Guys. Oh, yeah, and Mooney. Well, Oh, yeah, and Mooney isn't here today. He's actually hosting his family from Cleveland, Ohio. They're going to be doing a Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl on Thursday, the 55th annual in Winooski at the Armory. So if you're around, and I'm going to be there, you want to head over in the morning and cheer those old buggers on, because it'll be a lot of fun. Talk about just a couple old guys, that's for sure. Well, today we've got a new treat for you. Something a little bit different in how we typically do our shows. We've got a Thanksgiving show for you today, and it's all about some of the wonderful people that I've met, and you've heard us talk about it before. So Jude, if you could get the whole set on right now, I'm going to introduce all of my friends, well, some of my friends from Sail Beyond Cancer. Suzanne Johnson, Suzanne Snyder Johnson.
That's right.
My good friend Vince Hampson, there he is right there. Say hey, Vinny, right to that camera.
How you doing?
Laura Bowe. And Mizzy, she's taking care of Mizzy right now. And over here, Doug White, one of the captains at Sail Beyond Cancer. See the sign, all right, Sail Beyond Cancer. If you can't read it, we'll help you with that. Honoring those with cancer. SailBeyondCancerVT.org. You definitely want to check out the website, all right? Today we're going to talk about Sail Beyond Cancer, the organization, what it means to people like all of us here. We'll show you some pictures, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can help get involved and support an organization as wonderful as Sail Beyond Cancer. Suzanne Johnson, tell us a little bit about Sail Beyond Cancer. People who've seen the show have seen you here before.
Yes.
But we've got some updates because there's a lot going on with Sail Beyond Cancer beyond the state of Vermont.
That's
How about an update for everybody?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Thank you, Steve, for having us here.
Welcome.
And there's some really wonderful people in this room. Each of them have a role that they've played, and they've been a part of the organization, some of them, as in Doug, from the very, very beginning in 2014. But we take, when we talk to you,
Yes, please.
we take anybody who's being challenged by cancer, who just get the word that they have cancer, any type of cancer, any age whatsoever. That person gets to come out sailing with us for free for 3 hours, and they get to bring 5 of their loved ones with them on their own private sail. And I know we've talked about that before, but it's something that I always like to just bring back. And so the whole tagline, that's only a part of it there because we couldn't fit it all in the, is honoring those challenged by cancer by harnessing the healing powers of wind, water, and sail. So once we get out there, the sails are up, engines off, we hand the helm to the VIP, as you know all too well, as you've been there, to take control of the sail and have a great time with their loved ones and give a break on the lake, leave that cancer ashore for a couple hours. And
It works magically, too.
Yeah.
We know that. Right, Vinny?
Oh yeah, do we ever?
Mm-hmm.
Do we ever?
Just before we get on the air, you were talking about your last sail. You've been on a couple. Tell us a little bit about the last one. That sounded pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, last sail was on, we had 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, and the boat was just laid right over. You could literally stand up and see the water going through the window of the boat. It was awesome. Awesome.
I think I had a good time.
Sounds like
I
it
had
was a great
awesome-
time.
now, I've been on, that's the 3rd sail. Don't get me wrong, the other 2 sails were great. But
Yeah.
this one was, with the wind, was just awesome.
Well, we'll make sure when we get you out again, we'll make sure we talk to the weather gods.
There you go. Sailing on steroids, huh, Vinny?
Yeah. I'm hoping this year I get to go with Captain
Chris Von Trapp.
so
Yes,
yeah,
we will make
exactly.
that happen for
Oh,
sure.
we should name some names out there too every once in a while. Chris Von
Absolutely.
Trapp, we heard that name. Most people know that name here in Vermont.
But let me just first introduce this guy right here.
Absolutely.
Well, first credit to Captain Dudley, who was your captain on
Yeah,
that
Ted,
fantastic
it was
team.
Ted
really,
Dudley.
really good.
He's one of our captains, and I'm Doug White. I've been with the association since its inception, and it's just been nothing but rewarding and making them different models of how we do things. Using other people's boats, and we'll talk a little bit later about acquiring boats to run the program with. But there's nothing like the most important part is when you get a group of people out there and they leave the shore and they're on the boat and the engine turns off. Yeah, And when the engine turns off and you're just out there, it's that respite that everybody's looking for. I mean, you just leave everything behind, and it's an amazing feeling. That's a lot of the reasons why we do what we do here.
You were the captain on my first sail, and
right.
we had winds. Maybe not as it was. It
was
was a
good
ride.
wind.
It was a
Yeah,
ride.
yeah,
It was right.
yeah.
It was pre-COVID,
Yep.
so
Yes,
there were some
that's right.
differences there
Yep.
when we went
Yeah.
out. I know we went out with 8. I had 6 of my friends. You know, my
Yeah.
3 best friends with their wives, and Betty and I. And it was. I just remember. Steer into the sun, steer into the sun. And it was guiding me along,
Yeah.
and it was just the most remarkable feeling. And I liked the idea of going out on a sail, and I'll share a little bit. I mean, right after chemotherapy, it was the, what do they call the event in Stowe?
Oh, Stowe Weekend of Hope.
Stowe Weekend of Hope. Thank
Yep.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's where we met.
That's
and it was later that summer. I was on my first mission sail, and it was during the time that. Getting everybody to agree on a date, that was like herding cats,
Yeah.
okay? And it was like, this is when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it was an evening sail. It was just like in August, it was just heaven. It was just perfect. And it was there that you and Sail Beyond Cancer had me.
Yeah.
It was,
Amazing.
it was remarkable.
Yeah.
All those things that you talk about providing, you actually do. And it works so well for me.
Yeah.
And it's just something. It's just something.
I find that as I share with a lot of people, that once we get the sails up, you know, Mother Nature does her thing. I mean, we bring people out there. We guide our crew, and I'll talk about Laura in a minute here. But our crew, they've been trained. They already innately know what to do when they're out there. And Mother Nature, once we get those wind in the sails, and we're moving along, and people are like, oh my gosh. And half the people have never seen Burlington outside
point
of
of view,
breakwater and looking back and like, oh my God, what mountain is that? Well, that's Mount Mansfield. You know, I mean, how many mean? I don't know what mountain that is. But so it is just magical, and it's really fun to see the crew and the captains also, the light bulb comes off, that they get it. And after their first mission sail or second mission sail, and it's incredibly. I'm really grateful for all of the volunteers, and that's a huge. We could not do this without them. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about this woman. Okay,
Yes,
this one wants to
please.
come over here. This woman wants to come over here too. This one, you want to come over? So Laura Bowe and I have known each other for, I think we figured like 22 years at least, right?
But who's counting?
Yeah, who's
Right,
counting?
right,
And
right.
so I asked Laura to come join our board of directors in Vermont, here, the state of Vermont, and the Sail Beyond Cancer Vermont. And this summer I said, hey, do you want to go on the sail? So she jumped in with 2 feet, right? And
Yeah.
will you share people, what was that like for you?
Sure. So it's hard to say no to Suzanne. And so when she asked me to be on the board of directors, I absolutely said yes. And when I was telling her yes, in my mind, I'm visioning, I don't want to do just talking head stuff though. I want to help with the events. I want to help with the sales and help them raise money and help bring on volunteers. And I did get that opportunity to be on a mission sail this summer. And unlike your sail, we had to use the motor at the beginning because there was no wind. And it was actually better that way because there was some nervous women on board that were like, do I need a life jacket? I have a windbreaker and I'm all ready. And so it was really good that it was nice and calm, and we used the motor and went out. And then they packed an amazing meal. It was like a 5-course meal. So as the ambassador, I was like, okay, here comes first course, second course, refill your glasses,
cool.
don't forget your sunscreen, you know. So
Good
as the
stuff.
ambassador, I helped to enhance the cruise, and then the wind picked up, and they saw the sunset, and they were able to sail, and by that point they were comfortable enough that sailing with the winds, I mean, I've got full body shivers just thinking about it again. It will not be my last mission sail, but it was wonderful. And the fact that it wasn't, like your cruise was actually better. So don't want to scare anybody away. So yeah, it was magical is definitely the word, and as a memory that they will never forget. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, on my sail, there was a few people had white knuckles, believe me.
It does happen for some folks.
It does.
It does. We had actually, I think, in a couple of pictures. Maybe it might be time just to give people an idea of what. Again, most of these photos are probably from my sails or a combination of what you may have sent. This is one that you will remember, Suzanne. Fran Kirby, our good friend from Massachusetts.
Fran is
we
so
met
like you.
Yeah, we met at the same
That's
event.
exactly right.
Stowe Weekend of Hope. He came up, and he came to have a sail on Lake Champlain with Sail Beyond Cancer, and he came with his wife Ann, and there you are. I think Whit was with us.
Yes, he was.
There's Bet, and there's Mizzy. I can see her in the.
Mizzy there too.
Yes.
What's really interesting, and this is great, we'll talk about this. There's 3 different chapters. One in Vermont, one in Salem, Massachusetts, and now Annapolis, Maryland. And Fran, as you saw in that photo, is a stage 4 glioblastoma brain cancer patient who has already, he's just amazing. He, like you, he's been on 3 sails. But his 3rd sail, he decided to come up here because he really missed Steve. And he wanted to go out sailing with Steve, and he missed us. So he came up and had his mission sail here last summer, 2021. So it's wonderful that we can do that, but
Yeah, it is great. It's great.
The different options to be able to sail on either one of these 3 chapters.
Well, one of the things that you can, and I'm sure you'll be able to share in this too, Doug, is that when we were talking, there's a difference between sailing on Lake Champlain and sailing in the ocean.
Oh, sure.
There's some timing things. There's some weather. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Lake Champlain is just an awesome place for us to sail and take people out, but the conditions are pretty nominal. We get 25, 30 knot winds, which thank God you were in before that happened. But when you get to some of the organizations that are off the lake, we have tides. The winds are stronger. The weather patterns are very much different. Here on Lake Champlain, I mean, the skiers know that the bikers, we all know our weather patterns. When the ocean changes all that. So it becomes a little bit more challenging to take people out sailing. And
Absolutely.
Suzanne's talked about the North Shore, so it's a protected harbor, but to get out to sail, you have to be in the ocean. And Annapolis, those sailors, they know their way around their bay. But at the same time, the bay is not as deep in some places, and you got to be careful where you can and can't go. So a lot of dynamics to taking, taking people out sailing and enjoying it. In our sails around here they last, the 3 hours is amazing. The evening sails are great. Steve likes to go west because the dock is to the east. Okay? Because if he goes west, he can keep sailing.
Keep going.
So we just to clarify your westward sail a little bit there. But yeah, it's so enjoyable.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that's really important, as we venture out into some other chapters on the ocean or on large bays and stuff. Our model when COVID came, our model was to drop back and use members or volunteers' boats, which was very handy. It allowed us good control and flexibility. As you mentioned, scheduling is that room full of cats.
Right.
It's probably the hardest part of this whole organization is that section there where we have to line up boats and stuff. And having volunteers with their own boats, all have to meet a certain caliber. They have to be comfortable enough and safe enough. And so that worked out really well for us, and so it's a model that we appreciate, and we're very grateful to the other captain, myself and the other captains have always thought that this is a good model to get us through that. And we'll talk a little bit about the standard model is to have each chapter at least own a boat, if not two. But the sailing conditions do vary between different chapters, and it's we are blessed with the lake to help us start this organization, get our feet on the ground, and have a really safe place to get people out on the water.
Good, good. You talk about how about the size of the boats? There's a captain, there's a crew, and we're 6 folks on board, 5 folks.
You want me to talk about the hybrid model yet?
Yeah,
okay.
please.
So you can come on up here if you can stop. Sorry, this is my
That's
other
okay.
child. My other child.
Yeah, that's good.
So right now, like Doug is one of 8 captains that we have using their vessels. Captain and Dudley, he's one of them, and there's several in the Mallet Bay, some in Charlotte, Shelburne, Burlington. But so for the most part, we have a captain and 2 crew. So the ambassador is sort of the second crew member. We have a first mate. So the captain and first mate are really responsible to make sure that that is a safe sail. And anything that happens, we anticipate it ahead of time so we know what to do before, hopefully, before something happens. That's the whole idea. Right. Then the ambassador, like Laura, I love to call them like cruise directors, or they're just a lot of fun. They're people that are happy people. They're out there to just mingle with the group and not be helicopter listening in on conversations. Right. That's not our jam, right? We're there to bring people out, make them comfortable, help them so they don't have to go up and down the companionway, go down below and get stuff. We get
Take
that
photos
for
for them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play
All the
photographer.
things
Takes
that happen for
pictures.
us.
Exactly,
Yes,
for you, right. So, and part of that is taking photos and really documenting the whole sail so that we give all those photos back to your group, as you well know. I mean, you both have been recipients of a couple of those things. So, and scheduling, it can be challenging in terms of boats all over the lake, scheduling people to who's going to pick up where, who, and when, who's going to be crew. And then, of course, if they're their own private vessel, you have your boat on the water for a reason. You want to actually use your own vessel for your own time. So we're so grateful to be able to have these wonderful captains who've given so much of their time on their own boats, and blowing off their family for a little while just to be with us and help us. So it's just so what we were doing, and we do this in both in Annapolis and Salem, is that we are implementing this coming summer. Really big news is that we're bringing on. We've just purchased our own vessel for next summer for here. I mean, the boat's going to be 40. It is 42 feet long, and Doug will talk a little bit about that. Okay. And I bet you will be able to probably squeeze on a few more passengers with that size vessel, so that we would have either 6 or possibly even 8 passengers, because it's wide enough and big enough and long enough that people can spread out. It's a safety factor in the end. But what's great about, and I'll talk about this and then you talk about the boat, the great about having our own vessel that's ours is that it brings in more people from the community who used to own a sailboat, who would love to go and be a part of this organization, be one of our captains. And, they, along with other people who've wanted to get out and crew, just haven't had the opportunity to do so. When it's our vessel, it means it's so much easier to encourage people to come out, and this is our bricks and mortar. This is it. This is our boat.
It's your race car.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're developing a pit crew that will, and somebody who's going to drive the car and put the gas in. Yeah.
Exactly. And we go so as far as having little videos about, how to tie the cleat. What do you do with this? How do you set up the sails so the crew can go on in their own time and have a refresher before they hop on the boat for their next sail.
Good thinking.
And so
just like the airlines do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to put a seatbelt in, right? I know how to grab that mask, but every time you
That's
get
right.
that,
That's
and so
right.
it's fresh in your mind
Exactly.
in case safety first, right?
That's right.
In case of an emergency,
That's
it
right.
only makes sense. That's smart. That sounds like the model you were talking about.
Well, no, and all these what we're really doing is trying to implement these little reminders. Do make it just a safe occasion. We've been very fortunate as an organization to also have donated vessels. We've had vessels donated to us, and we had the luxury one time of having a boat donated to us that was, had those safety features, had a large cockpit, and had room for 7 to 8 guests plus crew. And the new boat that we just got, it's a Catalina 42.
Okay.
And the Catalina 42 is known for its spacious cockpit, a safe cockpit. It's deep enough, and yet there's room for crew around, space below, and it's got a modest sail plan. And when I say that, it's just got a sail plan that's easy to use. It's not a high performance race car, but it'll get around the track pretty good, if you will.
That makes sense.
And so. And what really draws that out is now we have this platform that, belongs to Sail Beyond Cancer Vermont, and they can then have, training sessions and, get everybody really comfortable with having guests on board, because that's the important part. If they've got that in their pocket, then the rest of it's just like, come on, let's go sailing,
Right,
you know.
right. Let me
the
take you for a ride.
Yeah, right. You know,
Yeah.
and so the rest of it is just like, you know, you're going for the ride. Me and my crew, we got our gig done. We know the safety of the boat. We know everybody's going to be fun. So everybody just exhales. You know, they just
Right.
everyone just exhales and enjoys the ride.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate. The Vermont, you know, Sail Beyond Cancer Vermont has put together, and they had a search crew, and we went out and we found a boat. And this one we had to make a purchase because that's how strong we believe in the organization having a boat that they can call their own. You know, so when we make that step, you know, when we go out and find a boat, and the Catalina 42 seems to be a perfect platform, it costs money. So
Right.
we went out and everybody agreed that this is
Made
the
a
way to just
decision, and
get it all
yes,
together,
yeah,
and then
pull the trigger. Let's
Yep.
do this.
And then we can perform
Right.
everything like we were just talking. You know, all the training and all the comfort of the sail is what's really going to come out of it.
Always at your disposal.
Yep.
Right.
And then the ownership, the group, you know, all the captains, you know, and the crew, and even the ambassadors are going to really understand that, you know, this is their platform. This is us, and welcome people into that
Makes a
version.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Catalina 42 foot.
Yes,
Yep.
That
42
means
feet.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
About 13 and a half feet wide.
Yeah, she's only 12'8", so let's, you know, yeah, she hasn't gotten to the 13 yet, but, you know, no, it's a, and I think by bringing that up, that makes it a more comfortable boat. It's a beamier
Right.
boat, the cockpit's bigger all the way
Sure.
aft.
Yeah.
And we found a boat that has, you know, good sun protection. You know, we do this all summer, and you know, comfort is the name of the game,
Right.
as well.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense, especially with the folks that you're carrying.
that's
that-
right.
Absolutely.
The sensitivities are a lot
Absolutely.
higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're,
Yes.
chemo, you both know. I mean, you
Oh,
know, you're
yeah.
much more susceptible to the
Right,
sun.
right. You're not when you're actually doing the chemo for
Yeah.
2 weeks after you do the chemo, you're not supposed to be in the sun at all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's hard for me to do, but
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's really going to be fun, and I've seen this happen in other chapters, and we've had it a little bit here. As we grow, which we are every year, we will have more and more mission sails happening on the same day and the same time. So we'll be passing each other out there, and that's a lot of fun. And just knowing that, you know, hey, there's another boat, right? And
It has happened, right?
that has, oh
Yep.
yeah, it happened.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it will happened here, but it will definitely happen more now that we have our own vessel as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's wonderful.
it's just fun.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah.
lot of fun. So.
Can you show us, Jude? You know, we'll go through a couple more photos just to give folks an idea here of Sail Beyond Cancer and some of the great times we have out there.
Hey,
You know those two.
that might have been
Yeah.
on your sail, Doug.
Yeah,
That might have been
yeah.
on your.
That's one of a couple of sales that
might
we've
have been
done.
the
with
Sky.
Couple,
Steve
that's right. I don't think it was the
and
first
Christopher.
one because Christopher didn't go on the
Yeah.
first one.
Oh, that's right. You
Right.
did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Christopher, that was a fun day, and that's that stuff you're talking. I mean, it was just so powerful. I don't know if it shows it that way on the TV screen, but when you're out there like that and see and feel, and I can hear the water, I can feel the wind. You talk about harnessing that power, and for a moment, it's all yours.
Absolutely.
For a moment, it was all mine right there. Thanks,
And-
Jude.
Yeah.
There's not only Chris, and that's a different sale because that's
ET.
that. Yeah, and I was just going to say, Laura, you talk about volunteers. I know you know Terrell, and I know you're involved. Suzanne, she's been with you for a long time too. Talk a little bit about TT.
I've known Terrell, boy, from the very, very beginning. Probably, I mean, I've known her for years, but I remember talking to her in the gym about this idea I had, and I was describing this thought about being out there for, you know, taking cancer patients. She started having glassy eyed, and I could tell she was about to start crying. And I asked her, "Is everything okay?" And that's when she shared with me that her now late husband had cancer, and she said, "I think you should absolutely do this." So, you know, fast forward 8 months, and Steve was one of our first sales that we took. We had a couple, but yeah, definitely that first summer. And she often talks about that. And then Terrell herself ended up having her own sale a year later, and has become a amazing volunteer. And
Yes.
just, you know, very similar to Laura, just understanding what the value is that we're doing and what we need to do to get out in the public to share that wonderful feeling. So she was very sorry to miss this whole thing. She sent me a text saying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
"Please say hello to everybody."
Yeah,
I wish I
great,
was there.
great. Yeah, no, she's so sweet because I'll get a text from her, "Are you home?" And it's like, yes, and I know what that means. It means dropping off stuffed mushroom, their little pastries, or
pate or whatever she's
just-
making for people.
yeah, just so sweet,
very
just
giving.
very, very thoughtful,
Very
very
giving.
thoughtful, and.
Sort of goes with the theme of Thanksgiving today.
There you go. That's you know
today.
you nailed it right there. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
I mean, she's given, and I'm grateful for that, and I know all of us are because just like the people in this room right here, people like Terrell make up
Yes.
what Sail Beyond Cancer really is. Like I said, you got the idea, you got the heart, you got the spirit behind it. It does take a village, doesn't it? Susan?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people say, what can we do? How can we help?
Yes.
And being Thanksgiving, part of it is we're very thankful and grateful, but Giving Tuesday is coming right up.
I think that's a
right.
great way to get into Giving
Absolutely.
Tuesday because it is something that you in social. I see it every day on social. Not every day, but as it approaches,
will be.
there it is. That's
Yes,
right.
right.
And plenty of opportunity. There's so many worthy causes and opportunities out there. How do people narrow in? Well, I'll tell you how people narrow in. For me, is I'm going to tell you that Sail Beyond Cancer is a worthy organization that would benefit from your generosity.
Absolutely.
So-
And every penny goes to it. We're a
Every-
local
exactly.
nonprofit,
Yeah. There you
a local
go.
nonprofit that the money goes directly to the mission sales and to helping the cause and to
local. Yes,
local.
yes, yeah.
So
Right.
you
Yeah.
know that check you're writing is going to do.
Staying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
helping
exactly
the people
right.
in your community. Could be your uncle, could be your brother, could be your sister. It's probably somebody you know because we all know somebody.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Don't we?
exactly right. So on Giving Tuesday, which is a week from today,
Mm-hmm.
you all will see it on your social media somewhere. We'll be already reminding people that it's coming up, but you're not allowed to officially donate until the actual day. It's kind of like Black Friday was originally. I don't know if Black Friday actually happens on Black Friday
We got to get
anymore,
through.
but-
We got to get through Black Friday first.
So the point we'll be sending out a link, so you have a direct link to be able to donate, or you can share that link with someone you think that might be interested in helping out, and knowing that everything you do is really to help this community. We serve all of the state of Vermont, all ages. We've done a lot with Capt, and we're looking forward to doing more with providing more sales for our kids with cancer oncology, pediatric oncology. So it's just a great way to give back. Really great. And it's a one-day thing. Bingo.
Yes.
So we'd love it. We'd love any kind of support.
Yeah,
that
we
way.
really think that makes so much sense. And up on the screen right now for folks is the website, Sail Beyond Cancer website, where you can certainly review and take an opportunity. We might as well say too, yes, Giving Thursday. Thank you too for all the people that nominate folks.
Absolutely.
We could
That's
probably
right.
talk a little bit about that too.
Absolutely.
That was what I was going to bring up next. So
Oh, great.
The other, people say to me, well, how do I become someone who's going to sail, or my sister or my brother? And you go to the website, sailbeyondcancervt.org, and there's a big button that says nominate. It's very easy. You click the button, you give your name, your contact information, the VIP person, the one who's dealing with cancer, their contact information, minimal basic information that you have to share with them. If you do know the type of cancer that they're dealing with, you can put it. If you don't, you just put their email address, their name, and their phone number, and then Suzanne takes it over from there. And you don't have to talk to that person to say, do you want to do a sale?
Right.
Because Suzanne will do that. It's the easiest thing.
It is
and
so easy.
Really easy.
So
Yes.
easy.
Yeah.
And something came up last night. We had a board meeting, actually, Sail Beyond Cancer Vermont board meeting, and one of the board members said, so I think, people don't think about nominating until you start sailing. And I said, no. Giving a nomination now is just as important that it would be in May, because the person receiving it, and you two know all about this, when you find you've been nominated, it makes you feel pretty good that somebody's thinking about you. It gives you something to shoot for as you're going through chemo, right? And you can know that you'll get to go sailing. And so it's a wonderful free gift that anybody can give anybody. And just the thought of like Laura said, you don't have to call up that person and ask them if they want to go sailing because you don't know how to explain too well, you know. So you don't have to do that. We take that off your shoulders, and
It's very easy. You make it
Very
very easy.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I know. I was nominated at the end of April and didn't sail until August. But I could tell you, I probably look forward to that every day
Yeah.
until then.
Yeah.
And like I said, the herding cats part, well, that just got me better at organizing. So it's,
So Suzanne, behind the scenes, how does the herding cats thing work?
So how does a nomination work? So a nomination comes through in the email, and myself or Yusette, my main sidekick here, who's not here today, but we call that person. And if it says in the directions, please call their spouse or whatever, depending on type of cancer or how they're doing. And then we just kind of find out where they are in their treatment and figure out what's a good day. We sail 7 days a week, 3 times a day. We are not at capacity and definitely won't be at capacity with this new boat because we'll be able to do that many more sails. So that is sometimes overwhelming for someone to think, oh my gosh. So then we say, this is, you go back to figure out who you want to bring with you. And typically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays are the coveted days to go sailing just because their friends and family can come after work, or Saturdays and Sundays obviously are easier to get family to come with you or friends. And so then we coordinate with every single passenger. We sign a liability waiver electronically, so nobody has to deal with paperwork when you get on the boat. You bring your cooler filled with whatever you want to eat or drink, and sometimes it looks like you're staying for about a week.
you get an appetite out in the water. I do anyways.
This summer I found an Annapolis. I have to train them a little bit better. I mean, this group of 5 showed up with 5 coolers, and I'm like, okay, no, we can't do this. It's holiday. We gotta get.
If all 6 butts want to be in there, you've got to have.
Oh my God, it was pretty funny. So that's how we do it, and our priority are people, obviously, depending on what stage cancer, what type of cancer. If it's a pancreatic cancer, we really encourage the family to let's get them out sooner than not. And it's very interesting to see that sometimes we have to nudge a little bit and say, listen, I think you'll be happier going sooner than later. And but for the most part, we take them out as people. As soon as they get back to us with the dates, then we look at our master calendar. We put it in there. We have our captains, and then the crew. We open that up to the crew once the captain. We know which captain. That's pretty much how we do it. We have the captain, and the crews sign themselves up.
And you cross your fingers that Mother Nature's listening.
And that's right.
That's right.
I had one canceled. Remember?
Yes, you did, and it was lack of wind, right? Or was it?
No, it was way too much.
Way too much.
There was a big storm coming.
You still would have gone.
Yeah.
I would have gone.
And we get that. We have people like, I want to go. And there's always one person.
And then Chris came down with coronavirus.
Oh, that's right. He came up with
Chris
that's right.
But he had already told me that he would have canceled the sale. He would not have
Because of the
done
weather.
it.
Yeah, it gets too hard.
It was really cold, rainy, a lot of wind.
No one
I
wants
would
to
have still
sail in the
gone.
rain.
I know you would have gone, but
I'll tell you something. When the weather is going off to nothing or getting really, really heavy, we end up getting calls from each other, the captains. You know, it's kind of like a little group discussion. And everybody knows their boat, and they just want to make a safe situation. And and they, hey, what do you think? And somebody will have a better picture of the window of the weather coming across the lake for Lake Champlain and such. So it's always a group effort. And we've also had some really good. It was a sail, but we motored out far enough to watch the sunset, and then watch the sunset and motored home.
Sure.
I mean, it was you're still out there. You motor out, you get the boat moving enough where you turn the engine off and you just glide out in to watch the sunset. And
What's a real good win for sailing?
Yeah.
what's it?
Well, it's the boat. It's the boat. It's like you saw. The boat that you were on was fine with 20 knots of air.
It was awesome.
There's ways to do it, and practically our only cautionary thing is we can reduce sail Our cautionary part comes with just making sure everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
And safe. But
Right.
beyond safe, we want people to be comfortable as well.
Yeah.
We don't want them to go away
Miserable.
not wanting to sail again.
Yes.
It's always been my experience that every time captain and crew checks in on my comfort level.
Yeah. Yep.
And while I'm probably more like Vinny that I want a little more action than not, but there are times when calm is good too.
is good.
So
Absolutely.
just being aware of that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just ask one. You said
Yeah.
that the coveted times are the weekends, but you sail every day.
Absolutely.
Isn't that true?
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Now maybe we should let everybody know.
Yeah,
that
7
it's-
days a week. Yeah, we sail, right through, and it's really a matter of who can gather their groups together.
Mm-hmm.
And we have volunteer captains, and so it also depends on their work schedule too, and their life, and
Sure.
so yeah, absolutely, we still do. We definitely do sail 7 days a week. It's just easier to find them. than we can.
You have the executive director duties,
Yes, sir.
and you're involved with Sail Beyond Cancer in Salem, Massachusetts, and now in Annapolis, Maryland. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I'd like to know I'd like to know. I'd like to have people know out there that move, that jump, and how that all happened. But before that, let's go to the new boat.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I saw photos.
Yay.
It's got a cool name.
Yes.
And I know that was up for discussion whether to keep it or not. I don't know if a decision was made last night at the board meeting or not. But if you could let us know, and then talk a little bit about that boat. Who's going to captain the boat? Do you have a captain for that boat?
We have captains. We have
have-
captains, and we have volunteer captains. We have the nice thing about this, Steve, is that, and this has happened now at least 3 different times. When we bring a boat to a chapter, or when we have a new boat donated, or a new signature vessel, people come out of the woodwork. And it happened in Salem more recently, like last year. We had a Freres 38 donated, coming off of a much smaller, older boat. And all of a sudden, we have 5 new captains because they're excited to be able to get back on a boat that's fun for them to sail, and that they're having fun and they're giving back at the same time. So, to answer your question, we definitely have volunteers to run this boat, and I believe that there'll be more people once they find out that we're doing this.
Sure.
I mean, and Doug, you can.
Well, absolutely. I think it really does come down to that ownership thing, and what's really neat is because it makes an opportunity for, Sail Beyond Vermont and Sail Beyond the other chapters and stuff like that to work with a standardized training session,
Oh, you want consistency throughout. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right,
So when-
right.
Yeah.
No, and that's what you don't need the direct consistency, but you have to have that background, that backbone of what is safe. And there is we don't need to touch on this much, but there's Sail Beyond Cancer USA is like this the
It's the
cap-
mothership.
It's the mothership,
Right.
yeah.
Pun intended.
And so what we do is we drop down into the system these training minimum requirements and stuff like that to create the safety and the comfort on a boat.
Right.
So then you take Sail Beyond Cancer Vermont has gone out and acquired this boat, and so that now, like Suzanne's saying, once there's a boat, it gives people an opportunity to come out and they want to be the captain. It's easier, and we have captains that don't have boats that can come out and join in the fun.
Right.
And also having it be the the organization's boat, they in turn can get that training. So
It's a win-win right
yeah,
there.
right,
Absolutely.
right. You're
Yeah.
drawing them into the training and the running the boat, and now you have the versatility with the schedule is really what gets
Right,
really rewarding, because now we schedule the boat that we have, and we have ownership and captains to run it, and then we have the fill-in with our other model, where we fill the other time slots or double the time slots.
Yeah.
With owner-operated boats. The captains are there, and what it really does is the captains are one thing, but the ambassadors and the crew that come, and we have a couple people that are crew that are in line to be captains. I know a particular
Yeah.
woman on the association that I will be training to run my boat as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
and so
Mentorship,
and
huh?
some, yeah, well,
That's
some
good.
of and some of the other boat owners may be as willing as I am, but if there's a standardized, training session on the 42-foot boat, and I have a 42-foot boat, let's go.
Right.
Let's do
Right.
this.
Good.
So
Good. It does make sense.
Yeah.
Does make
it
sense.
comes back down to the mission. I think of a gentleman, you haven't met him yet, there's a Captain Bill Connor down in Annapolis. He's one of the first captains that signed up. He has his own Catalina 36, and he immediately said, listen, I will captain my own vessel, but I'll also captain our dedicated boat. Wherever you want me to be, I will be, because I believe in this mission, and I'm here to do whatever I can. So that I can see also happening.
Sure.
And this boat hopefully will be based in Burlington, our boat, our new boat here, which might be easier for somebody to hop off from work and do a mission sail in the afternoon right from the office or wherever they are.
or skip a little work,
What's that?
or skip a little work.
skip
Yeah. It sounds like that'd be a good reason to take
Yeah.
the afternoon off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's no bad day to sail. There's
No bad day to sail.
golf.
No
Right.
bad day to
Yeah.
sail.
Yeah.
Steve, I think I want to bring one thing up is that this is being thankful and grateful, and I know we talk about it is Thanksgiving, and I just wanted to just take 2 minutes to say how much I am grateful for each of you sitting here. Each of you have done some amazing things over the years. I never forget sitting in my car. I don't know where I wasn't in Vermont, and I was talking to you really for the first time on the phone, and we just hit it off, and you said to me, I am here, I am going to be your cheerleader for as long as I possibly can. Do you remember this conversation?
I
It was
do.
probably about
I do.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone, and I just had this warm, fuzzy feeling like, wow, how awesome is this? So I really commend you and thank you so much, because every time you're out there, you're wearing your best. I mean, these are things that are invaluable to what we do. So thank you.
You are welcome, Suzanne. I do remember. I recall the conversation. You shared things with me about your vision and
Yes.
just the feeling that I had. I will speak Sail Beyond Cancer until I can't speak anymore, is how
That's
I said
exactly
it.
you
So
said, yes.
that is, and it's so true. I'm glad to have the opportunity to do that now.
Yeah,
It's
look at
just,
this, right.
it's a gift that keeps giving. It just keeps giving.
That's right.
Oh.
And then Doug, you from the very beginning in 2013, when I came to you and saying, "Hey, guess what? I got a boat. I'm going to start this going. Can you be on the board?" And you literally, we've known each other for decades. And I respect you tremendously, the captain and in nonprofit, leader. You've been involved in nonprofits, so you've really been so wonderful in so many ways. So I thank you very, very much.
You're welcome, Suzanne.
And
We're here
Laura.
for the mission.
I get you. I mean, you are. I'm just talking. You, yeah. I am. I'm thankful for you. I mean, I literally. Can you help me? We've done a lot of really cool things together over the past 22 years with the Chamber of Commerce. We're both ambassadors. So, this woman is the queen of networking. And Vinny, you're the man. You are the man. And Vinny gets on something that he's going to sell something. He is going to sell it to anybody that walks by. And you were like Mr. Salesman with the calendars,
Yeah.
and just telling people about this, and you would call me up with some ideas for fundraising, or let's do this event. So I really appreciate all of
I'll
your.
do anything I can do for this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honey. I get a kiss. So I just wanted you all to know that I really appreciate this, because it is. There's no way I could. I mean, yes, I had the vision. But it is no way that I could do this without everybody doing their part. And it's a community-driven, volunteer-driven chapter and nonprofit mission, and it affects everybody around us. So
It does.
We are so blessed, because it definitely reaches a lot of other volunteers outside of this room is really what makes it go as well.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
many people.
Yeah,
I know.
and
Yes.
And I've had you out for a couple sales now, but it sounds like I really need to have Vinny out
Oh,
on the
absolutely,
boat.
dude. Oh, yeah. You got to give him a ride of a lifetime. Yeah.
We're going to do that.
Well, we can't let this day go without thanking Suzanne. I mean, because without Suzanne and her energy and her love and her support and her vision and day-to-day constant work on this wouldn't be happening and people wouldn't be getting their
Right.
sales. So
Right.
we thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't know where your the thought came from and how, but I just love how when that seed was planted, you watered it and you cared for it until it grew into a solid, very solid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, it's
Well, it wasn't always like, you know, when it was first recommended that I start a nonprofit from Kathy Macbeth at the hospital when I was going through my treatment,
Kathy
my
Macbeth,
own coming back with when I was bald. And she thought, you should start a nonprofit. Anything you seem to do seems to work. So, but I really didn't quite know that I could do this. So I spent the year going to cocktail parties and asking people at cocktail, what do you think of this idea? And everybody, of course, had a few drinks at that point. Were like, yeah, you should do it. So anyway, but the really big kicker was I decided to start looking for a boat, and I couldn't find anything on the lake to purchase, so I just stopped looking one day, and I just got a big universal message that said, "Stop looking, the boat will come to you." And when it does, that's when you have to do something. And within 8 months, this gentleman, Alan Schellerin, was dying of cancer and did not know I was thinking about doing this. And he was not even from here. He was the brother of another gentleman who's now passed from cancer. But he asked me out of the blue, do you want my boat? He had a month left to live, and I just said, is it a sailboat or a motorboat? Because I'd like to know that. You know. And he said, no, it's a sailboat. If you want it, it's yours. Come and get it. And every time, and I said, well, what do you want for it? And he put up his fingers like, every time I say that, you know, I feel that energy. And that was a deciding factor right then and there. I stopped looking, and the boat came. And it was a perfect size. There was a little Perkins Pier dock that we could get, but the boat had to be 30 feet or smaller, and this is a 28.5-foot O'Day. And that slip opened up in 2 weeks.
wow.
After receiving the boat, and there was a 10-year waiting list on that.
Yep, and then the calls went out.
Everything fell in place within 10 days. It was unbelievable. So, you know, I think many of us have opportunities in our life where you have a choice. Do I stop looking for that boat, or do I say, oh my gosh, this boat is in Maryland, but it's being given to me. Do I accept the boat, and do I take off and run with it and figure out how to get it up here? It'll get up here somehow. And so the next day I called up Mr. Schellerin and I said, so here's the deal. If your boat's floating and it's decent, we can sail it. I will bring it up here and start this nonprofit and honor you and take people out just like you on Lake Champlain. And I said, you know, Alan, I can't get you a write-off before you leave us, because he had about a month left to live. And he said, I don't care. He said, that's just phenomenal. I think it's just great, and I'm thrilled. And so that's the beginning. That was 2013, Labor
came to
Day,
you.
Labor Day week, Labor Day day.
Yeah.
So.
And when you say that, again, the boat, you stopped looking, the boat came to you. And you shared earlier that new sites have popped up just like that.
Just like this. Absolutely. And you know, it's community driven. So there's been 18 different locations that people have come to us and said, oh my gosh, we want to do it. We please, you know, San Francisco, there are like 3 different groups that are just please, please, please. So they are, you guys get your group together, and I will come out there and tell you what you need to do. But it's really about the community realizing that this is something they want to do in their community. And it has to be a sailing community and an area that is decent for sailing, I should say. But right, Doug? I mean,
Yeah, I really think, you know, what becomes more important is these donations come and it allows us to really support the use of a boat for a really good cause. And the cause is deeper than just somebody looking for the tax return. I mean,
Right.
I do a lot of the asset management. I'm a master marine surveyor. We'll give them a value, and so people can get their tax. Those are great. Don't get me wrong. Those are fantastic.
Sure.
But when a boat comes from a family that knows us and says, "Hey, you know what? This fits your program."
Yeah.
Not, we don't need to make a program around it. It's already there.
Right.
Which is the blessing.
Now that's recognition of how the value of the program, isn't
Exactly.
it? Really, and it speaks loudly about how well respected it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think it's important to recognize that we're set up very similar to Make-A-Wish, and that Sail Beyond Cancer USA is the mothership. There are no vessels that we don't operate on out of a harbor, but we are the overarching nonprofit. Doug is on that board, the USA board, and we oversee. We have an agreement, a chapter affiliation agreement between the chapters, so that they are working with us and making sure every sale is done the same way, so that the Fran Kirby's can come from
Sure.
Massachusetts up here, and we don't even think twice about it. We know he's going to have the same experience that he would down in Salem.
In alignment, you're all in alignment.
But it does. It takes funding. It takes financial funding. That's the bottom line.
Right.
Because we turn around and give back to the community. These are free services they provide. So if anybody has any connections or thoughts or foundations that we think that might resonate, we'd love to talk with them and just share. This is who we are.
Right.
Does this resonate with you and your foundation?
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, you have to reach out, let them know what you're doing. And,
Absolutely.
the last few minutes that we have here, if you take a quick
There you
look up
are.
on the screen, again, just some of the images that
Can I stand
Whit probably has taken, and
gotta
really
stand up.
appreciate some of what we're going to be seeing here in the next couple of minutes. Lake Champlain. We can put a few more pictures up there, Jude, if you would. Again, we'll speak over them.
There we go.
Then
You want to stand up? Yeah, stand up, buddy.
Stand
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Stand up. Stand up.
Yeah, yeah. Keep the pictures up there, Jude. That'd be great. And again, here we are, folks, just relaxing.
Yeah.
You can tell that's here in Lake Champlain.
So we encourage people to go all over the boat, and once we get the sails up and we get the helm, we have the person who our nominee, the patient, typically will take the helm, and then other people will too as well during the sail, because we find that it's so important for the caregivers and the loved ones there to have a chance to honor the person that asked them to be there, but also be a part of bringing that vessel through the water. And, there are many different discussions that happen out there, but our job as captains and crew is to bring them out, bring the group out there and allow them and give them the opportunity just to be with nature and to leave their,
Captain Dudley.
yeah, there's Captain, yep. Leave their journey that they're
There's
dealing
Connor.
with.
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah.
That
That's
looks like
Chris, in case you- yeah.
Chris Von Trapp. So we encourage people to get involved. Go right to our website, volunteer, nominate somebody, and help us with donations to help us continue to provide these amazing, life-affirming sales. So last 2021, we started a new program for Memorial Celebration of Life Sales, which allows people who have lost somebody to cancer to also nominate someone who's lost somebody to cancer, so that group can come out and honor, celebrate the life of their loved ones. And we find it's more or less somebody who's, there you are, Vinny, who's lost somebody to cancer in the past 3 years. We find it really is very helpful
I would
Again,
think so.
to get out there and just
Memorial sales.
memorials.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
memorial
Yes.
sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a nice idea.
So we have lots of some of our.
Do you get nominations the same way for a
Same way.
memorial sale?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you go to our website and you click on that nominate button that Laura was talking about, a page will pop up and it'll give you a choice. Do you want to a respite, cancer respite sale, or do you want to nominate for a memorial sale? So, and then it pops right up. And it's a lot of fun. We've had various numbers of our nominees, or our VIPs, who've actually had such a great time that they decided they wanted to be a volunteer, as in Tom Robb.
Yep.
And
Tom, yes,
Tom,
yes,
yeah,
I saw
so-
Tom. Yes, he was
so-
on one of mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's now one of our crew, even though he himself is going through and being challenged by cancer right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
He's got some pretty good
Yeah.
numbers right now, but
I
Yeah.
can be a volunteer too then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Just make sure the wind's blowing that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Again, just remarkable photos out there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
people, you can see the joy in the faces and
Yeah.
the freedom of just breathing in to eat.
And on the website, there's a video as well.
Yep,
But
there is a video.
I don't
We
know
have
if there
a
might
couple
be
different
time.
videos,
Yeah.
impact videos. So I think that, I don't know if she's going to put that in now, but
I don't know. Do you want to? Do we have? Yeah, we've got time. If we got a 2-minute video, if you want to do that, that'd be great. They're well done. Whit produced those. We should
Yeah,
give him
sure.
a little plug too.
absolutely.
because-
Endeavor Films, EndeavorFilms.vision is his company. He's a professional videographer, photographer, and in New Jersey filming something right now. I don't know why. I can't keep up with it.
Well, that's pretty neat because I know that we talked about Vinny selling calendars, and I heard you mention that there will be a new
Yes.
Sale Beyond Cancer calendar coming
Yes.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. This is.
Who doesn't know someone who is fighting cancer?
Cancer's an unwelcome guest. There's no two ways about that.
Need a break where it's not just about the cancer treatment.
Harnessing the healing powers of wind, water, and sail.
A sense of peace, joy, true joy.
I felt the power.
Get out on the lake, it's just everything just kind of opens up, all kinds of possibilities.
Be able to see that sense of relief on their face as they're sailing.
Actually took the helm on this vessel into the sunset. I felt the wind in the water. I saw my friends laugh. For 3 hours, I was brought to another place. I felt it. I felt it in places that I didn't know I could feel.
Just let go.
Be present for each other.
I think that means a lot to people.
To nominate someone, it's just a very simple, free gift.
And I'll say it until I can't say it anymore. Sale Beyond Cancer. It's an unbelievable gift.
Nominate.
Donate.
Volunteer.
Yeah, thank you.
Be recycled.
Thank you, Steve.
You're absolutely welcome. I know we're going to get the signal to wrap up. I want to say thanks everybody for joining us. Giving Tuesday, next Tuesday. Please remember Sale Beyond Cancer. Thank you, my friends. This is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See
Happy
you next time.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Everybody.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Next
Happy
time, just a
Thanksgiving.
couple old guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Oh my God. No, Laura, you
Well
can put it
done,
away.
guys. Well done. Well done.
Are you going to be okay?